Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? It's been a minute, it's been a while, but we are here, folks. We are here for the spoiler review and discussion of Deadpool and Wolverine. And let's be clear, there is going to be spoilers up the wazoo in this stream. But I would assume that by now, most people that are going to see the movie have seen the movie, so I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. I do want to apologize for this taking so long to do, man. So I recently started channel memberships, and I started going back and doing my old format of creating these highly edited videos, these long form videos, and I forgot how long that shit takes, man. I've been out of the swing of doing that for so long. I've been doing these live streams for a while now, and I just kind of forgot like what goes into actually making a highly edited, highly detailed video. But regardless, like I did it, man. Like I've got my first channel members video out. It is a review of Star Wars The Acolyte, a spoiler review of Star Wars The Acolyte, and that is available for channel members right now. If you guys want to go and check that out, it is available for channel members right now. It only costs $1.99 a month to become a channel member. But that is available right now, and I will leave the link to that in the chat. So if you guys want to become a channel member, right there you go. Boom. All right. So yeah, that is available early for channel members. You guys get it a week early. It will go public to everybody else next Friday. So be on the lookout for that. But for now, it is exclusive to channel members, at least for the next week. So go check that out. Again, it's only $1.99 a month. But yeah, anyways, we're here. We are here for not Star Wars The Acolyte. We are here for Wolverine and Deadpool. And I got to say right out the bat, before we jump into the plot, before we jump into spoilers, I got to say right out the bat, this was a fun movie. This is a really fun movie. And I don't mean that just in the typical sense of just, a fun Marvel movie. I mean, just in general, this was a good time. Like, you know how like people say, there's popcorn flicks. Like this is definitely a popcorn flick. Like this is something you go to the movie theater and you're just going to have a good time with. Like you're going to sit down with your big bucket of popcorn, with your large ice cold drink, and you're just going to have a really good time watching this movie, man. This shit is funny. This shit is hilarious. This is Marvel at its best. I was super impressed by this movie. I'm not gonna lie, super impressed by this movie. And you see the subtitle at the top of the stream. It says MCU fixed. MCU fixed. Maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about it. What's up, failure? Supdo. Yo, what's up? Hater Headquarters, a $1 billion gay road trip film about Marvel's most marketably sexual fluid characters having sex in a Honda while merging matter and antimatter to make the MCU a production about its production. Not even close. Not even close. No, I had fun with this movie. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Originally going into it, I thought it was going to be a kind of a buddy cop type of movie, and I guess it is to a certain extent, but at the same time, like this, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just a very unique film in regards to what this is. Because I mean, it's like if you've seen the Deadpool movies, like this is going to be very familiar territory to you guys. But at the same time, when you throw in Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and the serious nature of it, it adds something to it, man. It really does. And overall, I'm just going to go ahead and state this right at the top of the stream. Excuse me. I'm going to say this right at the top of the stream. Overall, I think out of the Deadpool movies, the 3 Deadpool movies, I would say this one is probably the best Deadpool movie out of the 3. In regards to a lot of factors. Now, I will say, I think the first Deadpool movie, in all honesty, probably has a stronger story. I think it has a stronger story. I think it probably has a stronger characterization, I guess you could say. But at the same time, like if we're looking at what makes these characters who they are, this is probably like the most Deadpool of Deadpool films. Like if you're looking at Deadpool from the comic, this is the most Deadpool of Deadpool films. It really does a good job of emphasizing why the character is so freaking popular. And again, I was just very, very surprised and happy with this, and I was laughing the whole way through. I had a lot of fun, and I mean, apparently a lot of other people did too. It's already hit the $1 billion mark. I mean, this movie is doing really, really well. The reception is really, really good, and people are saying, "Hey, between this and the announcement of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, maybe Marvel is fixed. Maybe the MCU is fixed. We're going to talk about it." So let's just go ahead and dive into this. Let's go ahead and dive into this movie. So first and foremost, this is about Deadpool and Wolverine going across the multiverse in order to stop the machinations, the evil plan of Cassandra Nova, who is the twin sister to um, Professor X. And along the way, there are various cameos, there are various Easter eggs. They meet a lot of characters from the Fox Marvel movies. And I guess that's something that I really just need to go ahead and put out there. This film, I think more than anything else, is a love letter to the Fox films. I think it is a love letter to the Fox films because there's a lot of Fox cameos in here. So I'm going to dive into major spoiler territory. So you guys have been warned. But some of the cameos that we get in here, we get the oh god, wow, oh my god, I'm blanking on the dude's name. Blade. Oh shit. I'm blanking on the dude's name. Holy shit. How am I Wesley Snipes. Fuck. Holy shit. Wes Wesley Snipes. So yes, Wesley Snipes Blade is in this movie, which that was a surprise. Like I didn't think we would see that again. And that was a surprise. Chris Evans is in this movie, but not as Captain America. No, he's in this movie as the Human Torch, of course, being from the Fox Fantastic Four duology, I guess you would call it. So he's in this movie as well. Elektra, like from the old Daredevil movie and the Elektra movie, she's in this film. That was surprising. Like that was shocking. So there's a lot of cameos in this film. There's one that popped up that's not from a Fox Marvel film, but from something else that I kid you not, my jaw literally dropped when I saw this. And we'll get to that in a minute. But this is a love letter to the Fox Marvel films. Now, there was some disappointment, I'm not going to lie, because I was hoping we would see, Patrick Stewart's Professor X, even though we did see a version of him in Multiverse of Madness. I was hoping we would see him here. I was hoping we would see Ian McKellen's Magneto. I was kind of hoping that we were also going to see at the same time, God, I can never remember his name. The dude that played younger Professor X in the in First Class. Oh my God, I cannot remember his name. Give me a second to look it up. John McAvoy. I was hoping that we were going to see him. Unfortunately, we did not see him. Michael Fassbender's Magneto. I was hoping to see him. Didn't see him. So there was some disappointments here. I was hoping we were going to get more X-Men cameos. Again, because we do have Wolverine in this. But we didn't get nearly as many as I was hoping for. So I will say there, as far as the cameos go, there was some disappointment there. So that was kind of a disappointment. But there's a lot of cameos that again, Wesley Snipes Blade. Just didn't see that coming. Chris Evans as a Human Torch. That was freaking wild. Didn't see that one coming. So there was just a lot of good stuff in here. And again, it was kind of a love letter to the Fox Marvel stuff. But I do feel like they could have gone a little bit further with it. And again, I think having the Magnetos in there, having the Professor X's in there, I think would have been good, especially because the main villain is Cassandra Nova, Professor X's evil twin sister, who died in the womb. Apparently Professor X took her out pretty early, like pretty damn early, and she's been sitting in the void all this time. So she is the villain of this movie, and they do a good job of really showing off her powers, of really showing off what she's capable of. And again, in the comics, Cassandra Nova is a very powerful character. Absolutely. She is an extremely powerful character. Definitely rivaling, if not to some extent, actually surpassing Professor Xavier in some ways. But no, she is she is the main. She is pretty much like the main villain of this film, and she is uh I think a very powerful villain again. But I don't know, like the writing I think could have been better for her. I think they could have done more with her, and I kind of felt like she was a bit restrained in this movie. But the villains are not really the strong point of the movie. The strong point is the Deadpool and Wolverine relationship, and that is really freaking good. There is a scene in this movie where you have Deadpool and Wolverine fighting inside of a Honda Odyssey, and it is violent, it is bloody, it is brutal, and they use the regeneration factor so damn well in this movie. They just absolutely abuse it, and it makes for a lot of cool stuff, man. But yeah, like the Honda Odyssey scene, I thought was like I kind of want to go out and get a Honda Odyssey now after that. Um, Let's see. Failure says a smart move for MCU would be to use Deadpool, how the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie used Jack Sparrow, not the main character, but steals every scene that he's in. I actually agree with that. I agree with that. And there was, I think that this version of Deadpool is going to be coming back at some point, because there was a scene here where, and they're looking at like the multiverse and stuff. Like there was a scene where you see Thor holding Deadpool in his arms, and I guess the implication is Deadpool is dying, but there's a scene where you have Thor holding Deadpool in his arms. And is that like a vision of the future? Is that like something that's going to happen later on? Is that foreshadowing? Like that feels like something that could happen possibly in Secret Wars. Like I could see that scene playing out in Secret Wars. So again, I don't think we've seen the last of this Deadpool or Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I don't think we've seen the last of those characters at all. I think they will be returning at some point. And I hope they do. But at the same time, especially when it comes to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman can't play the character forever. Although there is a joke in this movie where Deadpool straight up says, like, dude, they're going to be using you until you're 90 to play Wolverine. And that might be true to some extent, but like he can't keep being like the main Wolverine forever. And that brings us to the scene where my jaw literally dropped when I saw I could not fucking believe this shit when I saw it. Like this was fucking wild. This was fucking wild. There is a cameo of Henry motherfucking Cavill as Wolverine. And I was like, whoa. Now, this has been something that has been talked about online for months, that Henry Cavill was going to be the MCU Wolverine, that he was going to be the new Wolverine. He was going to replace Hugh Jackman. And that could still be the case. That could still be the case. But at the same time, I just could not fucking believe this shit, dude, because they see Henry Cavill as Wolverine, as a Wolverine variant. And Deadpool straight up breaks the fourth wall and says, hopefully we treat you better than those other guys. And I'm like, oh, shit. Shots fired at DC. Because obviously, Henry Cavill, I mean, unless you've been living under a rock, you got to know this. Henry Cavill was obviously Superman in the DCEU, the Zack Snyder continuity. And a lot of people wanted him to come back as Superman in the James Gunn universe, in the rebooted universe, because, even though the Snyderverse sucks, most people agree that Cavill is like one of the best fucking Superman out there. And he just needed the right director and the right writing, the right plot to actually show it off. And so, but of course he got cut. And here he is showing up in a Marvel film, and like to go after fucking DC like that, I was like, Oh shit. Like I kid you not. I was in the movie theater. I was holding my bucket of popcorn. I had my drink. I put in some popcorn in my mouth or started to put some popcorn in my mouth. That scene pops up, my jaw drops, and then they make the diss at DC, and my jaw dropped even more, straight to the damn floor. And I'm just like, damn. Like to go after DC like that in a publicly released movie. I cannot believe that shit. Yo, what's up, Wizard? How you doing, my man? How you doing? Um, yeah, you can hop into this. I should have let's see. I should have the invite link posted on the chat. Yeah, I've got it pinned I got it pinned in the chat. But yeah, if you want to drop in, I know you got Tony's stream tonight, but if you want to drop in for a sec, like you can do that, man. No problem. But yeah, good to see you, Wizard. But yeah, like the Henry Cavill scene, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I honest to God, I could not believe that. Because the diss at DC, I was like, damn, like they held nothing back. Like their whole like that's savage as fuck. Like I could not believe it. I could not believe it, man. I was just like, holy shit. Like they actually went after DC like that. Which I mean, let's be fair. The way Henry Cavill was treated, DC does kind of deserve it. Even though I'm giving James Gunn a chance and I'm giving the new Superman a chance and his universe a chance, even though I have some really big concerns about all of that stuff, let's not get it twisted. Henry Cavill got done dirty. And if they ever want to retire Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I am perfectly okay with Henry Cavill replacing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Because my God, and again, I can't show like I know there's pictures out there. I'm not going to show it on stream because I don't want this to get taken down. But Henry Cavill as Wolverine looks really damn good. I mean, a lot of people have said, nah. Hugh Jackman has to play Wolverine. No one else could do it. From what I saw in this movie, and again, it was just a cameo, but from what I saw in this movie, Henry Cavill could do it. Yeah, Henry Cavill could be a Wolverine for sure. For sure, man. Like if they wanted to bring him into the MCU, he could be Wolverine. He could be Wolverine. Absolutely. I'd have no problem with that. And I think a lot of people would be cool with that if that was Hugh Jackman's replacement. Especially because people just fucking love Henry Cavill. Like people love Henry Cavill. Even people who hate the Snyderverse love Henry Cavill. That would be fucking awesome. That would be fucking awesome. I should say on Wolverine. So the Wolverine that we get in this movie is not the Logan Wolverine. I know a lot of people thought it was going to be like Old Man Logan. It's a different. I mean, it is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but it's a different variant. And the Logan Wolverine, like the way the movie starts out, is you have fucking Deadpool using the adamantium skeleton of Old Man Logan Wolverine as a fucking dance partner to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye. I mean, and like there was so many shout outs to like the late 90s and the early 2000s. And as somebody that grew up in the late 90s and the early 2000s, like there was just so much fucking nostalgia here. It was crazy. It was nuts. What a way to open up this movie, man. What a way to open up this movie. But yeah, they go on this journey. And so here's the thing. Let's get into the whole possibility of like, does this movie fix the MCU? I'm going to say right off the bat, this movie by itself does not fix the MCU. Robert Downey, and I'll say this about the whole Robert Downey Jr. thing. Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play Doctor Doom does not fix the MCU. All right. But that being said, this is a start. This is a start. This is this potentially could lead to the fixing the redemption. There we go. The redemption of the MCU. And here's why I say that. Because there is a part in this movie where Deadpool himself even points out that phase 4 and 5 of the MCU, which is what we've been going through since Endgame, phases 4 and 5 have not been that good. And they call it out in this movie. That's the thing. They actually point out, like, no, obviously phase 4 and 5 have been a weak point. It's been a very weak point for the MCU. And they poke fun at themselves. And that is so fucking yes, exactly. Yeah, Wizard. Okay, you've seen the movie. Welcome to the MCU. You joined at a bit of a low point. Exactly. And let me explain to you guys why that's so fucking important and why it gives me hope. In order for you to fix a problem, you first have to recognize that you have a problem. All right? Let's say you're a drug addict. In order to get off the drugs, you have to recognize that the drugs are a problem. Okay? So, in order for Marvel to fix itself, in order for the MCU to fix itself, they first have to realize they have a problem. And the fact that in this movie they're willing to poke fun at themselves, the fact that they're willing to joke about this, um, the fact that they are willing to call themselves out on this, admit to this, you know what that tells me? That tells me that they've taken that first step. They recognize that they have a problem. So this does not fix the MCU. This does not fix all the problems with the MCU. In fact, there's not a lot in this movie that changes the lore. Like the way that the multiverse operates, the lore surrounding the multiverse, it doesn't really change in this film. Nothing in it really changes. There is one exception to that, and we'll get to that in a minute, but that doesn't really change. But the fact that they are able to admit that they kind of fucked up and that this is, this has been a problem, that they've been in a lull, they've been down in the ditches, they've been down in the dirt for phases 4 and 5 for the most part. Again, we do have exceptions like No Way Home, which are fucking fantastic. But the fact that they're able to admit that they have a problem, that's a good sign. So again, this doesn't fix the problems with the MCU, but they're actually publicly acknowledging to the fans, yes, we have a problem. And now that they've acknowledged it, that means they can take steps to correct it and to fix it. And that's good shit. That gives me hope. Again, I wish Disney and Star Wars would do this. Like, holy shit. Can you imagine if they came out with a Star Wars movie and there was like some kind of line or some kind of acknowledgement in the fucking Star Wars movie that we need to make things right, that we fucked up? I would love that. I would love if Star Wars would come out and admit that they've got problems. They've got major problems. So until you're ready and willing to admit that you have issues, you can't fix those issues. But now Marvel is admitting it has issues. And that means that they can take steps to start fixing and correcting those issues. And they deserve praise for that. They deserve praise for that. They really do. They really do. And I got to give him praise for that. I got to give him praise for that. And I appreciate that because that shows some level of humbleness. And it's like an olive branch to the fans. It's like, we get it. It's leveling with the fans. It's not talking down to us. It's not treating us terribly. It's sitting down and it's like Marvel and Kevin Feige sitting down and saying like, yeah, like we fucked up. It's leveling with us. It's treating us as equals. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that they can admit they have a problem. And it just, man, it gives me hope. It gives me hope that they can turn this shit around. And you gotta love that. You gotta appreciate that. So good job, man. Good job. Dragon, yo, yeah. What's up, man? Yes, go see the movie first. Again, I'm spoiling the shit out of it in this stream. All right. Go see the movie first. I don't want to spoil you because this is a movie you need to go in spoiler free. You're going to get way more out of it if you go in spoiler free. Definitely. Definitely. Yo, Hater, for someone that seems to have problems with gay people, you really do talk about it a lot. Like, can you chill? Like, no one's interested in your weird, armchair psychological, you know, diagnosis of homosexuality. Like, no one cares. No one cares. If RDJ was a Daniel Day-Lewis level actor, the casting would work. I think it can still work. Like, we don't know if, because here's the thing. We don't know what the deal is with this new Doctor Doom. All we know is that he's being played by Robert Downey Jr. He could be like an evil Tony Stark. They could go that route. Or it could just be Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom. Like, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. So we have to wait and see. Which, again, is not unheard of because, remember, Chris Evans played Johnny Storm, and then he went on to play Captain America. And this is the fucking multiverse we're talking about here. So we have to keep all of that in mind. It can work. It can work. But anyways, that being said, speaking of Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, dude, the scene where it looked like Chris Evans was going to say Avengers Assemble, and like Deadpool's like, he's about to say the thing, say the thing, say the thing. And then he says flame on. I was like, yo, man. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The Fox Fantastic Four films, both the duology and the weird, what was it, 2015? I think it was 2015 reboot that they did. Not very, they're not very good films. All right. They're not very good films, but they're kind of, especially the duology is kind of a guilty pleasure. I think anyways. And it is part of Marvel history. It is part of Marvel movie history. So you got, I mean, it was nice, man. Like, I love that this is a love letter to that era of films and to the Fox Marvel movies, and kind of a goodbye to all of that stuff. And again, I kind of wish we would have got more, because and it's weird too, because we got a lot, man. We got a lot, and we got some surprises there. Like, again, Wesley Snipes' Blade. We got Elektra. I mean, it was just Johnny Storm. I mean, just, we got a lot. We got a lot of good shit in this movie. We got a lot of really good shit as far as the cameos go. I just really, I guess for me, I wanted Magneto and Professor X. I really wanted Magneto and Professor X, especially with Cassandra Nova being Professor X's twin. Like, I really wanted those two characters to show up. I would have preferred I would have preferred both the First Class Magneto and Professor X, and also Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, because especially those two, because that was like the Professor X, like the definitive Professor X and the definitive Magneto for a lot of people. And it would have been cool to just see them come in for like one final show, one final like goodbye. Like this is their last show on Broadway. Like it would have been like, okay, that was nice. Now we can close the book on this. Now we can, put this chapter behind us. I would have appreciated that. And I know both of them are really old at this point, but they could still show up. They could have still showed up. I'm trying to think what else I need to talk about as far as this. Oh yeah, so the Wolverine we get in this one, again, it's not like Old Man Logan Wolverine. Like it's not Old Man Logan Wolverine. It's a different variant played by Hugh Jackman. But this was apparently like the worst Wolverine in the entire multiverse. Like, out of all the variants of Wolverine, this one was the worst. And we find out why. Apparently in his universe, humans came in and killed all of the X-Men, and Logan went fucking berserk, and he started going around killing humans, and it was just fucking pandemonium on his Earth. And he failed. Like, he failed utterly and completely. He couldn't live up to Charles's ideas. Like, and that's what makes him like the worst Wolverine. So I would say that, like, that's the thing. Like, Deadpool is definitely like the comedic side of all of this, but this Wolverine is the heart, man. Like, he's the heart. Like, he's really kind of where you're going to get a lot of the story element from. And again, like these two, they're so yin and yang. Again, it does. I guess it does have a buddy cop type feel to it because Logan is the straight man, and Deadpool is the comedic side. He's the clown. You know, he's breaking the fourth wall, and God, there's just so much good comedy in this, man. Um, there's a scene where they end up fighting like an army of Deadpools, like different Deadpool variants. It is probably the most goriest, bloodiest fucking thing that I mean, it is so fucking wild. It is the most wild fucking fight I think we've seen in any Marvel movie. And I was like, damn, bro. That shit was wild, dude. Shit. Oh, there's a part. Oh my god, there is a part where Deadpool is talking all of this shit that Johnny Storm said about Cassandra Nova, and like she just like rips all the flesh and muscle like off of Johnny Storm. Like it's fucking wild, and everybody's blaming Deadpool for getting him killed. Like making all this shit up and everything. And then it's revealed, like in the post credit scene, like no, Johnny Storm actually did say all this shit. It's great, man. Like it's great. Like again, like this whole movie, I was just laughing from beginning to end. Like I just came out like it's one of these movies where I came out of the theater and I had a smile on my face. Like I felt great after seeing this movie. Like I was just really happy. I was really happy, and that's good, man, because that means that this movie satisfied me. Like this was a satisfying film. This was a really satisfying movie for me, and I enjoyed it immensely. I really did. I enjoyed it immensely. I think I'm gonna try and catch it again while it's still in theaters. If not, I'll see it when it goes to Disney Plus. But I'm gonna try and catch it again while it's still in theaters because I just really had a lot of fun, man. I really had a lot of fun with this movie, and it gives me hope. Like for the first, like this summer is like the first time in a long time that I've had hope for the MCU, and I'm back to actually looking forward to what happens next with the MCU. Like I'm looking forward to to what they have in store. What they have in store. Now, I will say, as far as the multiverse lore in this movie, it doesn't really change anything with the multiverse for the most part, with one big exception. With one big exception, and that is the introduction of anchor beings. Now, anchor beings are people who are vital. They are essentially the cornerstone of the universe they reside in. So like a universe cannot continue to exist, it cannot survive. It will be disrupted, it will fall into chaos, it will fade if this anchor being is destroyed. And for Wolverine's universe, he is the anchor being for that universe. We learned that. We also we also find out that in the main MCU, the 616 universe, the main MCU universe, that Spider-Man is the anchor being for that universe. So Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the anchor being for that universe, which goes into some stuff that we find out because I know that the plot for the Kang Dynasty film, now that that's been canceled and we're going to get Avengers Doomsday, I know that anchor beings were going to be a huge part of that plot. It was also going to talk about how Spider-Man was the anchor being for the main MCU universe. And it does make a lot of sense, and it ties into something I've said years ago. I was talking about this after what the fuck No Way Home comes out. I was talking about this after No Way Home came out, and I said, like, for the MCU going forward, Spider-Man needs to be the main focus. Spider-Man should be your new Iron Man. That has been my stance ever since No Way Home. Spider-Man should be the face of the MCU going forward. For a long time, it was Iron Man and Captain America. They kind of shared that spot. But I feel like going forward, it should be Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man really is kind of the successor to Iron Man. He is the successor to Tony Stark. And I've been saying for a while, like if they're going to do a new Avengers team, Spider-Man needs to lead it. He needs to take up that mantle. He needs to be the successor. He needs to be the successor. And I think that may be where they're going anyways, even though, again, Kang Dynasty has been turned into Doomsday. I still think Tom Holland's Spider-Man is probably going to end up being kind of the central character of all of this, especially finding out that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is, in fact, the anchor being for the MCU universe. And I think that's really cool. Like, that gives me hope that they're actually going to go with my original idea for Spider-Man, like that he should be the focus of the MCU. I did a whole video. In fact, let me find that video and I will put it in the fucking chat so you guys can check it out. But one of my most popular videos is talking about how Spider-Man is the last hope of the MCU. And I still hold that opinion to this day. I still hold that opinion to this day. Yeah, let me go ahead and post that for you guys. Boom, 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 and boom. There we go. So I just posted the link. This is me talking about how I think that Spider-Man is, how I think that he is the future. He should be the future face of the MCU going forward. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. So the idea of anchor beings, I think, is really, really cool. I think it makes a lot of sense. Especially, here's the thing: if we go into Secret Wars, and let's say we have, especially now that Doctor Doom is going to be the main villain of the multiverse saga, let's say they actually do Battle World. Let's say they do Battle World, and Doom is collecting all these heroes from across the multiverse. It would make sense that you would have a group of heroes from the different universes that are going to be kind of the main heroes. They're going to be the ones that we really follow. They're going to be kind of the core of the story. And that could be your anchor beings. So it really kind of allows you to do this whole multiverse saga and all of this craziness with the multiverse, but still keep it grounded with a central cast of characters like what we had with the Avengers throughout the Infinity Saga. And that could be your anchor beings. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So you could have, and again, I looked at the Kang Dynasty plot, like you were going to have the 3 Spider-Men. You were going to have like Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. Like it is going to be freaking crazy, man. But yeah, like I do like the idea of anchor beings. I think that's a smart concept. I think that's a smart thing to introduce. And I think that's going to give us kind of build up a new cast of main characters, a core group of characters that we can follow going into Doomsday and, Secret Wars as well. So I like that. I like that introduction. I like that concept. That's kind of the biggest piece of lore that was added to the multiverse stuff. That was the biggest piece of lore. And I think that made a lot of sense. I think it was very smart. And I'm glad they decided to introduce that. And especially with Spider-Man being the anchor being for the main MCU universe. I love that because that goes again with my original video that I talked about, where I think that Spider-Man's kind of the last great hope of the MCU and he should be the main character. Like that makes total fucking sense. Also, I will say, and especially with Doomsday coming up, this whole multiverse thing, I think the Fantastic Four is going to be really fucking important going forward. I really do. I think the Fantastic Four film is really going to be kind of a big turning point for the entire multiverse saga. And I do think that, again, this movie does not fix the MCU, but it acknowledges the problems. And the way I could see it is potentially, since this movie acknowledges the problems with the MCU, Fantastic Four could be the movie that starts to fix those problems. And that, I think, that just gets me fucking excited. That gets me fucking excited. But I do believe that these characters, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, I do think they will be returning in the future for more multiverse shenanigans. Will we get a sequel to this movie? I'm going to say yeah. I mean, originally I would say no, but this movie made $1 billion really fucking fast. And I think just from a financial standpoint, they'd be crazy not to do a sequel to this movie. So hell yeah, I think we're going to get a Wolverine and Deadpool 2. Or you know what? This movie, hold on. This is Deadpool and Wolverine. The sequel may be called Wolverine and Deadpool. Like, who knows? But yeah, I think we're definitely going to get a sequel to this movie just based off of the financial success alone. Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. We're going to get a sequel to this movie. And I think we're going to see these guys pop up again, probably in Secret Wars. Like, I could see them in Battle World for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. Now, the other thing I will say, and this is something that did kind of disappoint me about the movie. So, going into this film, because we've all been wondering, okay, what is Marvel's plans for the X-Men? What is Marvel's plans to reintroduce the X-Men into the MCU? Like, how are they going to bring X-Men into the MCU? How are they going to get them involved with the Avengers? Like, how is this going to happen? How is this going to play out? Are they going to bring back the Fox X-Men? I don't think that's going to happen. Because again, this movie, I think, is kind of a love letter to the Fox stuff. So I don't think they're going to bring in the Fox X-Men. I don't see that happening at all. But at the same time, I think that this is kind of a goodbye to that. I just, again, I wish we would have got Magneto and Professor X. Fuck. But that being said, like, how are they going to introduce the X-Men into the MCU? Like, who's going to be like, if they introduce like a new team of X-Men, who's going to be the new actors? Again, if they're going to introduce a new Wolverine and have a new Wolverine actor, I think Henry Cavill would be fucking fantastic. This movie has totally convinced me of that. But who's going to be playing the new Professor X? Who's going to be playing the new Magneto? How are they going to introduce them? Like, do they exist in the main 616 universe of the MCU? Are they going to be from a different universe? You know, there's a lot of questions there. And unfortunately, I was hoping this movie would give us some of those answers, but it really doesn't. Obviously, Disney and Marvel are going to want to create their own version of the X-Men. They're going to want to bring in the X-Men into the MCU and somehow get them involved with the Avengers. Maybe we'll have an Avengers versus X-Men movie. I don't know. But somehow they're going to get involved in all this. And I was hoping this movie would give us some clues, give us some hints as to how they're going to do that. What does Marvel and Disney's and the MCU's version of the X-Men, what does that look like? How are they introduced? I was really hoping this movie was going to give us those answers, and it does not, unfortunately. And that's the thing I'll say about this. If I have anything to gripe about this movie, other than I wish I would have gotten more cameos, but if I have anything I want to gripe about when it comes to this movie, is that when it comes to the overall plot of the MCU, it doesn't really move it forward at all. It's kind of a love letter to the Fox stuff, and at the same time, it's just a really fun fucking movie. But it doesn't really progress the plot, I would say, in any significant way, other than the introduction of anchor beings. Like, that's kind of its contribution to the overall plot of the MCU and the multiverse saga. But as far as like what I wanted to see, which was really how the X-Men are now introduced into the MCU, it doesn't really do that. And that was kind of disappointing, because that's kind of the one thing I wanted to see at the end of all this is like, we're saying goodbye to this version of the X-Men and we're passing the torch to the new version of the X-Men, but we don't really get that. We don't really get that. And that is kind of unfortunate. So at the end of this, we're still left asking, how do the X-Men play into all of this? Like, where do they come from? Are they from another universe? Are they going to be part of the main MCU universe? Where have mutants been all this time? How do you reconcile Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch already existing, even though they're supposed to be Magneto's kids and they're supposed to be mutants? Like, how do we reconcile all of this? And we don't get those answers. And that was unfortunate, because that was one of the big things I wanted to see. I don't know. I'm sure we're going to get it once we get into, like, especially if we get Battle World, where we're trying characters from all over the multiverse. Maybe that's going to explain it. I don't know. But I really, at this point, like, I want to see how the X-Men are going to tie into the larger scheme of things. The only good parts of the Fox X-Men were Wolverine, Professor X, and Magneto. The first class, the rebooted version of Mystique is fucking fantastic. I would add her onto that. But you're right. Wolverine, Professor X, Magneto are kind of the core of those movies. They really are. They're the core of those movies. Um, my boy Scott got done dirty. Let's be real. Let's just be real. But I think that's pretty much it, man. Like, I think that's all that I can really discuss as far as this movie goes. My final thoughts on it. This is a really fun fucking movie. It's definitely worthy of the $1 billion that it's made. I had a really good time with this. If you haven't seen it, why are you here? For first of all, because I just spoiled the shit out of this movie. Like, why are you here? But second of all, if you haven't seen it, go fucking see this movie. It's so fucking good. I mean, it's really, really fucking good. It gives me hope for the MCU. Again, they acknowledge their fucking mistakes. Do you know how rare that is in 2024 that you actually have a major fucking studio acknowledge its fucking mistakes? Acknowledge they have a problem? I'm so fucking grateful for that. As a fan, I'm so fucking grateful. Thank you, Marvel. Now let's see if you can fix it. You've taken the first step to making things right, and you gotta fucking appreciate that. So let's clap it up for Marvel. Let's clap it up for Marvel for acknowledging their fucking mistakes. Thank you, Marvel. Thank you. And I think you guys are gonna do great in the future. I'm looking forward to what you guys have coming. You guys give me hope. You guys gave me hope with this. You really did. Again, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Wolverine, just fucking fantastic, man. Oh my god, the dynamic is so fucking good, man. The villains are all right. I think the villains are definitely probably the weakest aspect of the movie, if we're being honest. The love letter to the Fox stuff, they're respecting the history. They're respecting what came before. And you got to appreciate it. And plus, now, since they acknowledge all of those Fox movies, that confirms that all the Fox movies are technically part of the MCU. Not the main MCU universe, but they're part of the MCU multiverse. So they're canon. That's good shit. That's good shit. I mean, at this point, pretty much every Marvel live action film ever is pretty much part of the multiverse, and that's some good ass shit right there. I appreciate that, which means they're all potential candidates for Battle World. I'm just saying. Scott was done dirty. He's got Captain America level of respect amongst mutant kinds. Dude, the fact that Scott got taken out so fucking early in X-Men 3, The Last Stand, that shit pissed me off. Scott was done so dirty. Oh my God. It's not even funny. Which is why I appreciate X-Men 97, because I actually did Scott justice. You got to appreciate that. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Overall, the movie's fucking fantastic. I just wanted more. That's the thing. Like, it's so good. I wanted more of that goodness. Maybe that makes me a gluttonous fuck, but I wanted more, man. Like, I just wanted more. But for what it is really fucking good. And it's fucking funny, and you're gonna have a great time with it. And it gives me hope for the MCU, and it respects the Fox stuff that came before. And I appreciate it so much. And again, I don't think we've seen the last of this Deadpool and this Wolverine. I think we'll see them again. I think for sure they are going to be involved in Battle World when we eventually get to that. I just had a lot of fun. Great fucking movie. Enjoyed it. And go check it out if you haven't seen it, man. You're going to have a really fun time. And I don't know if it'll hit $2 billion, but it deserves it. I mean, it's a really good fucking movie. Go check it out. All right. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, my review of The Acolyte is up on YouTube and on Patreon for channel members and for patrons. Go check it out. Again, I'm going to post the link to my channel memberships. It's only $1.99 a month. You're going to get access to videos early. You're going to get to be involved in exclusive polls, and you're also going to get some exclusive videos from time to time. But I am going to post the link to my channel memberships. Go check it out. My review of The Acolyte is available for channel members and patrons right now. Go check it out, man. $1.99 a month would very much appreciate it. It's going to be available publicly to everyone next week, next Friday, but it is available right now to channel members. Go check it out. And I will be posting a poll this weekend for channel members and patrons to pick the next long form, highly edited video that I do. So you guys get to select that as well if you become a channel member. All right. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Much love. I'll check you guys later. And yeah, people, just what a great fucking movie. Good job, Marvel. Like, you got me excited for the MCU again. Good fucking job. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.